All right, welcome back to it. It's a here at home interview, courtesy of us, the independent 88.5 FM. My name is Mookie, or Mark if you prefer, and Suzanne Santo is here today. How you doing?
Oh, I'm so good. Just trucking along, as they
Yeah,
say.
well, I know. Well, it seems like from the observer, because I have been observing what you've been doing online and through social media and stuff like that. It seems like you're doing okay, and it seems like you've remained quite active under the circumstances.
Yeah, thank you. I
Yeah.
I'm going with it. I had my early freak out back in March, and then I've moved on. But every day there's a new crazy thing happening out there, and I've found that um I've kind of wavered on this line of I like to be informed, obviously, of the goings on in the world, but I also don't want to go down with the ship. So
Yeah.
I've been doing a lot of self care, eating well, exercising, meditating, spending time or digital time with loved ones, and just like keeping it the best that I can do, which is very rewarding in the long run, because if you get caught up in this stuff emotionally, it's dangerous.
Yeah, it can be. I told someone the other day, like, I can't scroll through the news feed on my phone and read the news of the day before I jump in and do a radio show or an artist
Mm-mm.
interview, because it literally just puts you in a different mindset,
Yeah,
and it could change your whole view emotionally and even physically.
a
It kind
hundred
of gets you
percent.
down in the dumps.
No, I think it's a very real threat to all of us that there's a lot of documentaries coming out right now, and not to get right to it, but the song I just released, Fall for That, is exactly about this. And I wrote it a year and a half ago, or a year ago, just about. And at the time, I was becoming aware that anytime I picked up my phone and I just started scrolling, I just feel so bad. And I
Yeah.
didn't, and it would be the weirdest things, like, something dumb like looking on Instagram and seeing somebody's body and being like, oh man, I need to lose weight, or just like really weird triggers that you don't even realize that they're coming at you. And then if you throw the news into the mix of just people's anger, and then you're just like, piggybacking onto it. Um, Subconsciously or unconsciously, I think that that's where it gets really dangerous for people, and that's why everybody's so mad.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm
Well,
trying
you
really hard to get through it.
yeah, you have to put some effort into it. That's for
Mhm.
sure. You already brought it up. I was going to get to it, but let's talk about it now.
Sorry.
The song "Fall for That" is
Stole
brand
your
new.
thunder.
It just dropped recently. It's a track not featured on the Ruby Red album, right?
No, it's new stuff, new territory.
Right, and Gary Clark Jr. helps you out on the brand new song. How did you link up with that guitar virtuoso? Because you,
I,
you got lightning in a bottle with that particular
yeah,
song. Yeah, it's awesome.
it was like kind of like pure magic, to be honest with you. Gary's just he's really a one of a kind of dude. I was really nervous when I asked him if he wanted to play on it. I remember thinking like, oh my god, he's probably not even going to get back to me. Like, this guy, like, he's so cool, he's such a big deal. And like, responded immediately. I sent him a bounce of the track, and I was like, hey man, are you in LA anytime soon? Do you want to play on this song? And he wrote back, I don't even need to listen to it, I'm there. And I was like, well, you should listen to it, because like, what if you hate it? And it was just so cool. And he and his family had just flown in from Austin, and it was actually a really crazy day. So my producer, John Spiker, who is also a legendary human, he plays bass in Tenacious D, and he also produces the band, among a host of other incredible artists and bands. And this particular day was Kyle Gass's birthday, and
Mm.
he was having a party at this like dive bar in the Valley, and John Spiker was MDing the whole event, music directing, for anybody who doesn't know what that means. So he was like organizing everything, and it was like there's all these like really cool comedians coming in, and then Tenacious D was doing a little headline set. And at first Gary said he couldn't make it. He's like, we're gonna have to do another day. I don't think I can make it. And then John put his phone down for sound check. And then Gary texted back and he's like, I can make it. I'm on my way. And I was like, oh my God. And I was like, John. Then I'm calling other members of the band. I was like, guys, I need John. I really need John. And like Gary Clark Jr. is going to be at John Spiker's house and nobody's going to be there. What do we do? So finally, John, and I was sweating and I was like, we can do this. We can make this happen.
I love
such
that.
a painful optimist. And sure enough, Spiker was like, I'll be there in 15. I was like, I'll be there in 12. Okay. And all ass to the valley. And Gary came in and the air conditioning wasn't on yet. And it was like 100 and something degrees. It was July in the valley. So we went in there. The whole thing took about 30 minutes. And Gary did like 7 passes, shredding right into the amp, no pedals, just incredible tone because he's that good. And he's just dripping with sweat. Like you could have wrung his shirt out afterwards. And like afterwards, he was like, man, that was cool. It's like, I felt like I just played a show. I'm so sweaty. And it was one of the best days because then I got to go watch Tenacious D, who's one of my favorite bands of all time. And I was just like, my mind was blown. I was so grateful. And then the track turned out like it did. And we're so happy and we're so excited about it. And, you know, it's really cool when your friends show up for you. And that's kind of how that feels. And also this dude's a legend.
Yeah.
So
That's so cool. That's such a great story too. So the song, was it written? I mean, you deal with some pretty heavy subject matter. Was it written while in quarantine?
No, I was in Ireland. I just started playing with Hosier because I toured with him for about a year. I played violin and guitar for him. And there were some really brutal rehearsals. We would do like 8 hours a day and we would be rehearsing in Dublin in the basement of this like 200-year-old club. So I wouldn't see daylight. And I mean, it was amazing. It was romantic in a lot of ways. And you're just like in this beautiful, incredibly old city. And we found out one day that we had like 5 days off. And I was like, I gotta go see this country. I have to do something. So I rented a car and I like braved the driving on the left side of the road. And I rented I got an Airbnb and it was like in the middle of nowhere on a 3rd-generation sheep farm.
Wow.
And the address were latitude and longitude coordinates. Like it was literally in the middle of nowhere. And it's in this city called Connemara, which is a coastal town, and it's absolutely breathtaking. I honestly, when I drove over this valley, I'd never seen anything like it, just the landscape. I'd never, in all of my US travels. So I went fully intending to just read and get some peace and write some songs and just kind of do me. And I realized I would just, every once in a while, I would pick up my phone and I would just be like caught in a trap. And I felt like my peace and my good time were getting contaminated by these, feels like an outside force. And it is. And I just like, you know, the first line of the song is rage on the wind tonight. Man, I was laying low by the fireside. And I would just be like, why am I so mad? I'm in this like beautiful place. So I really unpacked that sentiment. And, you know, the thing is, it does affect everything in your life if you don't keep it in check. And it does affect your health. It does affect your physical and your mental health. And, you know, it's funny because the song was supposed to come out months and months and months ago. And it's really interesting how it came out now, because I think it's really appropriate to how we all feel. So I'm a big advocate for like serendipitous, and things are meant to be, you know, how they're supposed to be. And sometimes that's a really hard truth to swallow. But in this case, it feels so right that this song came out now. And, you know, before we were all so scared because it's like, oh my God, nobody's listening to music. How are you going to get a single out there when you can't even tour it? But, you know, I think it's interesting to watch it fly and do what it's going to do on its own accord in a lot of ways, because I can't be touring and I can't go to radio stations in person. But by the way, thanks for having me.
My pleasure. It's crazy that we've talked to a number of artists and we've heard a lot of songs that certainly relate to how we're living right now, but they
Hmm.
were produced and recorded like way before we all went into COVID lockdown. For instance, the Rolling Stones song "Living in a Ghost Town" was
Mm.
written probably, I think, a couple of years ago. Mick Jagger said, but he just dropped it, and it's like, oh my God, living in a ghost town,
Yeah.
everything's on lockdown. It's like so
Yeah.
perfect for the
Crazy.
times, yeah, that we're living in right now. Real quick question about the song "Fall for That" once again is, yeah, I was reading what you had written about the song, and I mean, it hit home because we're almost living in sort of like a 1984 like novel, you know, where it's the news and they're telling you and telling you and telling you what to think and how to feel.
Hmm.
It's almost hard to decipher what your own feelings are because we're just being told things 24/7. So I guess understanding truth in a chaotic world
Hmm.
is something that you said about that. I don't know. It really it struck a chord with me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I appreciate the deep thinking
Oh my God, thank you.
on
Yeah,
that.
I mean, it's funny. It's like, a lot of this stuff that we're up against is propaganda. And, I don't even really know. Like it's coming from all different directions and, you know, sometimes culturally so. And I think that like in the past while when I've really been cultivating just like taking really good care of myself and, in conjunction with this like big effort that I'm putting in because I'm a single woman. I'm not attached. I don't have a partner. And at the beginning of COVID, I really hit this wall of fear of like, there were so many question marks of what we were going through, and I was like, am I going to die alone? Are my dreams dead? Like, is music over? What am I going to do? And I did that, and I metabolized it, and well, this is funny. I'm happy to share this part. I was actually in the middle of a tour and I ended up at my parents' house in South Carolina. And they, we're originally from Cleveland, but they moved to this like you're kind of like typical snowbirds from the Midwest. They like to go where the heat is. And my parents live in this gated community, and everybody's super friendly. And when I was going through all this emotional stuff, I would go for a walk, like walks every day, but I would just cry. So I'd be like and walking, and then someone would drive by in a golf cart, and I'd be like, "Hi, how are you?" And then they'd pass, and I just go back to my crying. And I was like, every time I'd see a car coming, I'd like clean it up, give them a wave, and then I'd go back to my whatever. But I realized that this is like at the nucleus of it. It's like really simple stuff, and taking care of yourself is really, it just really starts with like this recognition. And I don't care if this sounds woo woo or hippy dippy, but like you really got to love yourself. You really do. And I've been working on it, and I've been doing it, and in my life I've never been this happy alone. And I'm just like finding the joy every day, because the thing is, like, we're in the middle of a storm, but I think there might be a bigger one coming. And I know that November is going to be really hard for a lot of people, whichever way this election goes. It's just, we're pent up. So, like, I just really want to prepare myself with as much peace that I possibly can. And if that inspires others. And the thing is, I think like when you heal yourself, you heal others just indirectly. And so I think that's really important. And, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, and it's the vibe that you put out is sort of the vibe that you get back, and the vibe
Yeah.
that you put out certainly affects all the people around you. SuzanneSanto.com is the website. The last record from you is Ruby Red, so people could go to your website and get the merch, the
Hmm.
T-shirts, the socks, the koozies, the
Yeah.
CDs, the vinyl. I
Yeah.
think there's some more items up on there as well.
I do Zoom sessions now too, and they've been
Yes,
really fun. Yeah. It's nice
the
because it
Suzoom,
feels,
I believe, is
yeah,
what you call
yeah,
it.
yeah. That was my manager's idea. And I was like, cool, I like it. I like nicknames. I grew up with a lot of nicknames. And, it's just you gotta take what you can get. Mookie.
I know, right? I can't shake that. Even though I'm with sort of a smarter radio station now, it's just not, we're not like playing Green Day and 311 all day. I still can't shake the Mookie nickname, and
Hey, it's a good one.
yeah,
I had
appreciate
a
that.
boyfriend once and his nickname was Mookie too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Usually I get like, oh, I had a dog growing up named Mookie or something like that.
No, I
Like,
had a
oh,
super hot ex-boyfriend, so take that for what it's worth.
all right, appreciate it.
We're still friends.
You've done a hotel cafe live stream, which is great
Yeah.
because they're an independent venue that's kind of
Right.
hurting right now. And we're on the air trying to promote their live streams.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, you got one coming up with Jam in the Van, I believe,
Yes.
which is cool.
Yeah.
And, I feel like some of the stuff that we're doing right now virtually and all of this stuff that we're learning with technology, it'll probably set us up to be innovative even after
Right.
COVID is done, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We certainly find that with radio station stuff. I mean, we're all broadcasting from our home studios, which also doubles as my bedroom.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Love
it
it.
kind of makes you think, why pay the overhead of office space when we could have all been doing our job at
Yeah.
home
I've heard
anyway?
that a lot from a lot of different friends in different industries, especially New York. Because I have some friends that are still working and they're like, yeah, like our business is booming. Like, why would we go back to the office now when we're getting so much done at home? And,
Hmm.
and I think just like, again, like back to our mental health, like we're a real, workhorse society in that way that like 9 to 5, 5 days a week, sometimes more. And depending on your industry, but it's nice to think about your productivity and then also your quality of life shifting in ways that benefit everybody. You don't need to
Yeah,
be a slave to your job if you can help it.
no, that's true. So the first time I met you was with your previous project, Honey Honey, and then you came
Yeah.
by the radio station with some solo material and performed live on the air for us.
Mm-hmm.
And then it must have been a year ago, right? And I think I even texted you because we exchanged phone numbers last time you came in. I was watching some Hosier footage,
Yeah.
and I saw you, and I knew it was you, and I'm like,
It's
oh,
the hat. It was every
yeah,
time. Yeah.
good looking hat.
Thanks.
So yeah, I knew it was you, and I felt compelled to text you,
That was
hey,
nice.
is that you? Keep up the good work type of thing.
Oh,
Unbelievable. Of course, Hosier hit it out of the park with his last record. I feel like,
yeah.
the song Nina Cried Power was
Mm,
like on my short list for songs of the year last
yeah.
year, you
Yeah.
know? What, how'd you link up with Hosier? You were his fiddle player and guitar player, right?
Yeah. It
And
was
that must have been an amazing experience.
it was insane, and it was life changing too, because it like kicked me up a notch as a musician and just as my playing, my everything. And it was super intense, really fun. I met Andy when Honey Honey did a benefit in San Francisco years ago, and I only knew Take Me to Church. I didn't really know his music that well. And he asked Ben and I to sing with him. This was a Honey Honey show. And we sang his song Work Song, which he actually closes every set with. It's a beautiful song.
Mm,
And we just stayed in touch. And like, he's also kind of like a mystical dude, maybe not by choice, just by nature. But I remember this is funny, but back in January 2018, when I was about to do my first solo tour, not with Honey Honey, I was just like, oh my God, are people going to show up? Are they going to even like this music? And I was like about to leave in a few days with my new band, who I love. And I got a text from Hosier, and he was like, hey, I've been listening to your new record and it's so good, and I just want to say congratulations. And I was like, stop it. And literally at the time, I know this sounds pathetic, but I was like sitting on the floor, like feeling sorry for myself. I was like, oh God. And then I got this text from him. And then couple months later, he said, hey, can I FaceTime you? I want to talk to you about something. And I had literally not the slightest idea what he was going to ask me. And he said, I'm putting a band together and I really want to get powerful women. And he's like, I think you'd be a great fit. And, I it was hard. I mean, it was like a hard yes for me. I was like, yeah, amazing. And, you know, if there's opportunities for me to show up as support, you know, for your tours, let me know. And I did. I got to open in Europe, which was amazing. I
Wow.
never tired. I loved every second of it. You know, I got to play 2 shows a night and I just loved it. But
Wow.
I definitely have struggled with wondering how, like, if they were happy with, I think they were happy with me because it was hard. It was really hard, just guitar parts and singing melodies over them. And some of it took me a minute to really get. But you know, I'm sure it was fine. That's my inner insecurities talking, but it was an incredible experience. And, you know, what's funny is we spent a lot of time with Mavis Staples, and because of Nina Cried Power. She sings on Nina Cried Power, and I actually became really close with her management company, and then they ended up managing me. So I'm in the same family with Mavis and Son Little and Trombone Shorty, and people I really, really respect. And it's changed my career in a really great way. And you know, I was actually supposed to open up for Mavis in Europe, and then it got canceled.
Oh
So,
my goodness. Oh man.
but you know, next time we'll get them next time.
We the last sort of benefit show that we did for this public radio station was in March, just before everything sort of hit the fan. But I mean, thank goodness that we actually got a show in.
Yeah.
It was Son Little opening up for Mavis Staples at the Performing Arts Center at Cal State Northridge. So we were
Yeah.
able to get Mavis. I still can't believe she agreed to perform for us. And, you know, and
She's
you talk,
incredible.
she's incredible. She's got a great band.
Yes.
And,
I cry every time I see her perform. It makes me cry every time.
yeah, she's like a divine entity walking
She
this
is.
earth among us.
That
You
is the
know?
truth. That's the
Yeah,
truth.
it's crazy. Suzanne Santo, you're amazing.
Oh. Thanks,
And
Mookie.
yeah, and it's always a great conversation. So, you know, we got this sort of one-off single from you featuring Gary Clark Jr. Is that part of a larger LP coming soon, or have we not gotten there
Yeah.
quite yet?
Yeah, I've got a good deal of music recorded and more on the way. So, you know, I'm still kind of navigating how to release it. So I also did a song with Shaky Graves. That'll be the next, you know, little
Oh,
I guess single that's going to come out. But yeah, I mean, I'm really excited to share it. And working title, but I want to call it Yard Sale, because at this point it feels like this just menagerie of there's something for everybody in it. And one, I love yard sales because they're really fun, but it's just like a little bit of everything. And over the last like 2 years or so. So
can't wait to hear it, and we're happy to play your music for our listeners. People
you.
are going to be hearing more of the song "Fall for That." We still play "Blood on Your Knees" every now and again, like for the
Thank
local music
you.
spotlight, of course.
Yeah. That one's had a really interesting journey too, because the song, you know, the record came out in 2017, and then I think it was like late or like early 2019. All of a sudden it like got on these bigger playlists, and it just had this huge resurgence like out of the blue. And it's so funny how that stuff works. There's really no rules, you know. I was pleasantly surprised and grateful. But yeah, that one, that's it's a shredder. I think they
Yeah,
go
it
well
is.
together.
It's
They're
a
like,
sort of a grimy, like rock
yeah,
and roll song, you know?
yeah,
Yeah, it's cool. You said there are no rules, and there is no formula, and there is no metrics. Like we've seen it, like sometimes it'll take a song 18 months before it becomes like a hit. You
right,
know? Yeah, you
right,
just never know.
yeah.
But it seems like you're in a good place spiritually and musically, creatively, and you got a lot of great people working for you on your team, on your behalf.
Thank you.
So, you know, it's like this upward trajectory is happening right now, and I hope you feel pretty good about it.
Thank you. I do. And you know, it's one day at a time, I guess. But
Yeah,
today's been great so far.
good.
I get to hang out with you. This is like the most social contact I've had in weeks.
Yeah. We finally saw my wife's parents, yesterday, actually, for the first time in 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah, and we've
That's
only seen my
amazing.
folks once in 6 months.
Is everybody local?
Yeah, everyone's in Simi Valley or Poway down in San
Awesome.
Diego, so local.
Yeah.
But we're taking our bubble pretty seriously. We have a
That's good.
2-year-old now, and we don't
You
want to expose.
do?
We
Oh my
do.
God.
Her name's Harriet.
Congrats.
She's in the next room, and
I love
sometimes
that name.
she'll make an appearance on these every now and again.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go get her right now. She's
Good for you.
playing with Mama doing Play-Doh or Sesame Street or
Oh my
something.
God. Play-Doh's the best.
I know.
That's some good stuff. You
Trust
guys are
me,
doing
I
great.
know. It gets under your fingernails,
I was
though.
like, you're like, it's all over our house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy right now.
Yeah.
It's
How
crazy, but
fun.
we'll look back at these times hopefully and not think how frustrated we are because we couldn't get all our work done or something. But hopefully
Yeah.
look back and feel fortunate that we were
Mhm.
able to spend some extra family time and stuff
Yeah.
in the formidable years.
Yeah, I think it helps not take things for granted that I'll speak for myself that I have in the past. So yeah, it definitely gives us a perspective. We're all kind of told to go to our rooms, and
Mhm.
if anything, I'm hoping Mother Earth is getting the break she's needed. Although it feels like LA traffic's kind of back to how it used to be. So I don't know. We'll see.
I know. It's crazy. SuzanneSanto.com is the website. We'll be following your musical endeavors for years to come.
Thank you.
Very welcome. So we could get a song before we wrap it up.
Well, I
That's
figured
amazing.
I'd give you my living room version of Fall for that, because I mean, normally this is like, huge rock and roll. Can you hear that okay?
Yeah.
But it's interesting to play it by myself. So I'll do my best.
I love that we're getting this version.
Yeah. Rage on the wind tonight. Man, I was laying low by the fireside, but I see them creeping on a sneak attack, trying to smoke me out, trying to make me mad, and I won't fall for that. And I won't fall for that. Say it like you mean it, son. Make me believe I'm the only one. When you press yourself right up against my back, you talk too damn loud and too damn fast. I won't fall for that. No. I won't fall for that. Stomping your boots, making us quake, making our heads roll every which way. Honey, that creek's spilling over its banks with your bad news raining down all day, all day. I don't want to hear you yelling, trying to bring me to my knees with that cold you're selling. And let you hold my help just out of my grasp, living in your help fed on my back. I
Very cool. That's our own version of Fall for That. Suzanne Santo, amazing stuff. Thank you so much.
Thank you. That was actually, I've never played that version for anybody. So this is first time.
That's cool. That's so cool.
Thanks.
Can't wait to hear the rest of the stuff that's coming out. Again, your collaboration with Shaky Graves,
yeah.
and all of those things. Anything else to touch on before we kind of wrap it up and go do other things?
Man, just thank you so much for having me. And to anybody who's listening, I hope you're doing okay and hanging in there. And we're all in this together, y'all. So
Yeah.
hope to see you down the road. I'm a hugger. Looking forward to that one day again. In the meantime, Air 5.
Air 5.